Hi friends, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a reading vlog for you. It seems like I'm doing a lot of those lately. Let's jump right into it. After ALA, I have a ton of arcs, and what I am feeling most drawn to right now is thrillers. I think it's because I have like a thriller mystery idea brewing in my head that I want to write, and I feel like the best way to prepare myself for outlining and writing that story is to read as many thrillers as humanly possible. It's not a genre that I read a lot of, so this is pretty new to me. But I have a lot of thriller arcs. I might have to do a two-parter because I have a lot of books. I'm going to go over what I do have. First up is March 24th, and that is The Return. This is by Rachel Harrison. This one may be a little bit more sci-fi-ish or fantasy-based because I believe this might have like a zombie aspect to it, but it's still like a thriller horror. This is about a girl named Julie who goes missing and 2 years later comes back, and she's kind of like pale and emaciated. She's got weird cravings, and she gets together with her friends at a cabin. Something's going funky. We're gonna find out. Then on the 17th of March comes out Harlan Coben's The Boy from the Woods. This is about a boy who 30 years ago was found just feral, living in the woods, and now there's a child's gone missing. Nobody is taking the disappearance very seriously, not even her father, with one exception. There's a television criminal attorney who knows that Naomi, the girl that's gone missing, was relentlessly bullied at her school. I'm interested. The Girl from Widow Hills is by Megan Miranda. This one comes out in June 23rd. And this one is about a girl who was swept away in a storm while sleepwalking. Search parties are set up, and against all odds, she's found alive, clinging to a storm drain. Something happens, and it all comes back around. Like, she moves away, changes her name because the news coverage of this was like so intense that she couldn't handle it. And then something happens and she's drawn back into that life. I have this little guy. This is The Patient. This is by Jasper DeWitt. This one seems like it's going to be really, really creepy. This one is, I believe, like a journal that's being kept by a patient in a hospital. I don't know if it's a psychiatric hospital or just a regular hospital, but things start going wrong, or being like strange things start happening with the nurses and the doctors, and he doesn't know if it's his psychosis, I think, that's making him think things are weird, or if things are really, really off in this hospital. It seems like it's gonna be really weird. I'm hoping that they're quick reads because like there's a lot of them. Out of all of these, I am most interested in The Return, which I know probably has more paranormal than thriller. I'm super intrigued by The Patient. It's nearly 11 o'clock at night on the 19th of February, and I am DNFing The Return by Rachel Harrison. So let's chat about this one a little tiny bit. I am on page 68 of this book, and since then I have flipped through the book and taken a look at things, and I am completely fine DNFing this book. This is one that I was pretty excited about. I knew it did have like zombie-ish vibes to it, but it was about a group of women who were like college best friends, and one of their best friends goes missing. 2 years to the day that she goes missing, she shows back up. She has no memory of the 2 years that she's gone, and things have changed about her. And then the girls get together for a girls' weekend, and they start to realize all these changes about her. Here's the problem. At 68 pages, we had her disappear, be gone 2 years, come back, and then for like 5 months not see her friends until she's ready, and then they go with this girls' weekend. Julie, who is our zombie character, has married a man that none of the girls have ever met. Julie's mother has died. None of the girls go to the funeral. During the 5 months that she's like recovering from getting back, none of them FaceTime her, video message her, really talk to her that much at all. Very few of them, I think only one of them has any conversations with the husband. I don't know a single friend who has not texted a picture of a guy that they're dating, or talked to their friends about the guys that they're dating or about to marry, or said like, hey, it's gonna be an impromptu wedding, but like, I'm gonna get married, do you wanna come? Something. Like, I don't buy the friendships. There's also like weird forced diversity in the form of, she's from China, she's Chinese, she's adopted by 2 white parents, grew up in Atlanta, and is also an albino, has albinism. I don't know how you pronounce that one. And then one of the other characters is a cancer survivor. One of the other characters is like wildly, wickedly rich. And then our main character is kind of like the black sheep of the group, has no money, is not kind of at the same socioeconomic status as the others, and that becomes a point of contention. It's just, none of it makes sense. Like, the friend group is not believable. The way that they interact together is not believable. And the way that they talk to one another is very juvenile. At page 61, Julie comes back. The way that she's described is horrific, and all of them just go, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you." Like, and they're fine with it. Hi friends, it is me. I'm here to give you a little bit of an update on The Boy from the Woods by Harlan Coben. I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm about halfway done. I guess our main character is kind of wild, who is this boy who was found in the woods 36 years ago, and nobody knows why or who he is. And then we've got a girl who's now gone missing, and his godson is somehow related and involved. I'm enjoying it. There's definitely a lot of political machinations going on. I'm not creeped out. I am confused. And there's definitely entitled white rich kids, which is annoying. Like, I can imagine that we're going to come full circle, figure out what was going on in the woods with him. Hopefully we figure that out, because all he remembers is like his own screaming and a man with a mustache and maybe a memory of his mom or a woman that he might know. I don't know. And I'll check in with you guys soon. Today is the 25th of February, and I got through it. I don't know. I mean, it wove together interestingly, but it also had a very, very heavy political leaning. A lot of things didn't get tied up, and I know that this is not a new author, so I don't know if his stories weave together or if you can pick up different parts of other stories in his other books. If his books are kind of companion-y and you can figure out other things about these characters in those books, then maybe it would be okay. But if this is a standalone, I call bullshit. There's like way too much left unanswered. Trigger warnings for murder, for rape, for bullying, extreme bullying, assault, kidnapping, torture, physical violence, not mutation, mutilation. That's the word, mutilation, wrongful imprisonment. The description of extreme violence within the prison system, it was pretty graphic. Death of a child, drunk driving. It was pretty intense. I want to go 3 stars. It might have to do with the politics and the whole like rich kid, rich people entitlement stuff. I don't like those kinds of stories. It's just not my thing. I'm going 3 stars. Next up, I'm going to read The Girl from Widow Hills, which is about a girl who goes missing in a rainstorm. I think she gets like swept away in a rain gutter. The press hounds her. She ends up changing her name. I think somebody comes from like her old life, whether somebody dies, something weird happens. Another adult thriller. I really want to read The Patient, which is a shorter psychological thriller that I think might have some fantasy paranormal elements to it. I don't know. I'm going to read this one first. I want a winner. We're going to hope that this is the winner. All right, let's go start this, and I'll check back in later. This one is really interesting. I feel like I don't know anything that's going on, but maybe I know what's going on, but I probably don't know what's going on. She went out in the middle of the night, was sleepwalking, got swept away in a flash flood, and was not found for 3 days. And they don't understand how she was found alive. And now, as an adult, she started sleepwalking again. She's super unreliable. Like, she is waking up in places she doesn't remember, and things are happening, and you don't know if she's involved in them or not, or how things are playing out. And things are kind of being like moved around the house, and you don't know if she's doing it when she's sleeping or if something else different is going on. A neighbor who maybe has suspicion around him, and I feel like I don't exactly know what's going on, but I'm excited to know more. I am on page 135, so I am making my way through it. It's March 1st. I was really hoping to have this up sooner than later, but at this point I've only read one book and DNF'd one book and gotten halfway through another. So I'm going to push through, get through this one really, really quickly, and then hopefully get to Out of Body, which is the arc about a guy who has sleep paralysis, which I also have, and I am really intrigued by, and then also The Patient, which is short. There are 2 short ones, and then if I can finish 4 books, I think 4 in an arc vlog will be fine, and then I'll do the rest of them in another vlog. This arc comes out June 23rd, 2020. And this is The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. I finished it and I've given it 3 stars. And I'm waiting for other people to read it. I have a couple friends who have the ARC as well that I'm waiting to see what they think, because I don't know if I just maybe don't love this type of thriller, or if, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm not rating it correctly. That's silly. I'm rating it correctly. Like, I'm rating it based on my enjoyment and how I feel the book performed. I was very intrigued. There's a lot of back and forth where we have an unreliable narrator who doesn't have memories of her childhood, of the event that took place when she was swept away in this rainstorm, and then things start happening and you know she has a history of sleepwalking, and you don't know if she's at fault or if something else is going on, and you're not sure exactly what's happening. I didn't love what was actually going on. Per like a typical thriller, there's a lot of twists and turns, there's a lot of different things going on, there's a lot of red herrings, there's a lot of like, oh, it's clearly this person, no, it must be that person, no, it can't be this person, but maybe it is. A lot of convenient things. It was 3 stars. I think that it had potential. I wanted to love it a lot more than I did, but again, I have thoughts, I have feelings. There was still pretty writing. All of the pink is things that I thought might come into play or be important for the plot, and the orange ones were lines that I thought were really pretty that I thought I could use for reviews and things. At the very least, I've gained some knowledge about what I do and don't like in thrillers and plot devices that I do and don't like. I am moving on to Out of Body by Jeffrey Ford. This one is a dark horror fantasy. I'm pretty sure it has like paranormal aspects, but this one is the book that does follow a guy who has sleep paralysis, and he witnesses a murder, and then the killer is able to track him through his dreams. But I do have sleep paralysis, which I feel like I'm going to talk about at some point during this vlog, but not right now. Just my experience with sleep paralysis, which is just the strangest thing. And if you don't know very much about it, like, look into it a little bit, because it's a very odd phenomenon. Luckily, knock on wood, I have not had an issue. Well, no, I had an episode last year. I'm hoping this doesn't send me into another spiral where I have another, but it's short. It's like 160 pages. I have a feeling I can get through this pretty quickly. Today is March 2nd. I think I'm very, very, very picky when it comes to thrillers. I don't like certain kind of like twists. I don't like certain kinds of plot devices. I know what I really like in a thriller, and I know what I don't like in a thriller, and I've like yet to find one that I super crazy love. I feel like the ones that have more of a fantasy leaning are going to be the ones that I like absolutely adore, because like Rules for Vanishing I really loved. I'm about 90 pages in, which is more than halfway at this point, and I did that in like an hour. So if I have a little bit of like dedicated reading time, I'm sure I could crush it. I just really haven't today. So I read that yesterday. The sleep paralysis aspect of it is so spot on. I hate it. I hate everything about sleep paralysis. But it also takes a very quick paranormal, like out-of-body experience turn, which is not something that I can relate to. I'm hoping we get back to like the actual mechanics of like just pure sleep paralysis. At this point, we've had a murder and then this whole like out-of-body experience, alternate dimension world. So I'm waiting to see how it all comes into play. And I've had a discussion with Amber the other night about like things that I just don't love in thrillers. And I realized that it's like some of the more popular tropes. And so I'm really kind of waiting to find the thriller that really, really, really works for me. I do like when it's more paranormal horror as opposed to straight up thriller, but there are thrillers that I enjoy, so I just need to find like the perfect one, and then I feel like I'll be a fan. I also feel like I have a very odd definition of what makes a thriller. Like something like Night Film I still consider a thriller, probably isn't. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll check back in soon. Oh, hello friends. It is March 3rd at 11 o'clock at night, and much earlier today, I finished Out of Body by Jeffrey Ford, and I marked it as finished on Goodreads, but I have not marked a rating for it yet. Here's the thing. I knew we were going to get into like paranormal lands, but the reason why I really wanted this was because I knew it had representation for sleep paralysis. And the rep in this was so minimal, but I thought it was going to be like more thriller with paranormal twists, and it was really just pretty dang paranormal. So in terms of this being in the thriller vlog, probably not. Some of the depictions of sleep paralysis were dead on, but there was literally like 2 of them, and they were very, very short. For me, because I did say I was going to talk about it and I haven't yet, sleep paralysis started for me when I was in high school and continued through college and then my adult life. It doesn't happen every night. It happens maybe a few times a year at times of great stress and anxiety. Much like the character in the book, it can happen if I'm sleeping in a specific position. So it tends to happen a lot if I'm sleeping on my back. I don't sleep on my back anymore. Differing levels of sleep paralysis, like if I dozed off at work and I was sitting up, or like kind of like sitting up or kind of slouched over so that I was not quite on my side, I would have these instances of sleep paralysis on like a mini level where I would think I heard somebody coming home and I was trying to wake myself up, but I couldn't wake up and nobody was there, but I was having like this like anxiety, and I would like over and over and over again try to wake myself up, and it wouldn't happen. The main kind of sleep paralysis that I have is that I will be asleep. In my dream, I will see a shadowy figure of what I believe to know as a man at the foot of my bed. And it'll be at the foot of my bed, kind of like right where my feet are. And then slowly it will turn the corner of the bottom of my bed and approach me. And I know that if it reaches me, something horrible is going to happen. And I will try to wake myself up, and I can't. I will try to move, and I can't. I will try to scream, and I can't. I've many times woken up from this happening, and my throat physically hurts from how hard I'm straining to try to scream. Very, very small point of my body. Focus all my attention and energy there and try to move it, because if I can move it, then I can wake myself. Very rarely does that happen, or I focus on it so hard. But this figure is getting closer and closer, and the more anxious I get, the harder it is for me to focus on doing anything. Usually, right as the figure really, really approaches me, I wake up. And I have like this moment of like, oh God, okay, I'm all right. And then I open my eyes and the figure is still there. And I have this false waking, sometimes up to 6, 8 times, I think one time it happened. I go through that same very heightened anxiety and panic and fear and trying to wake up. And then I think I've woken and the figure is still there. And it cycles until I actually truly like come out of the paralysis and I'm able to move, at which point my blood pressure, my heart rate is through the roof. Again, I have like muscle aches from like how hard I'm trying to move when I'm stuck in those positions. It's the actual worst. And when I did some I try not to look into it too much because it freaks me out. Essentially, it's like a waking hallucination. Like I'm actually awake when it's happening, they say, or in like a very, very, very nominal, very high sleep state where like I'm aware, I'm stuck. My body is stuck. You know, like maybe my mind is more awake than my body, or vice versa. I don't freaking know. So even after all these years, I've just tried to not fucking look into it because it's scary for me. Sadly, it didn't give me what I wanted, and that's not the book's fault. It's my own. It says on the back that there are demons and that there's out-of-body experiences, and there is all of that. It's not what I wanted. It's not a true thriller. It's horror and dark fantasy. If you're into that, this might be for you. And his sleep paralysis turns into, yes, he's paralyzed and he can't move, but then he leaves his body, floats above it, and then he can go like wander the town and spy on people at night when he sleeps. So I'm still looking for like a book that's not going to freak me out too much or say too much like medically, because like I don't want to freak myself out. But I would love to see more main characters that maybe suffer from sleep paralysis, because it's not fun. It's really horrible. And at times there's great like anxiety and stress, which is when it usually manifests for me. It's like the last freaking thing you need. Anyway, I haven't rated it because I don't think it's the book's fault that it wasn't what I wanted it to be. but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wraps up really quickly. It's pretty convenient. It has some like creepy elements to it. I think it's probably like a 2.5, 3-star book. For me, it was probably like more like a 2-star based on what I wanted it to be. I'll probably do like a 2.5 and give it like 3 on Goodreads. It's not horrible, just not what I wanted it to be. And then I picked up The Patient by Jasper DeWitt. This one is a debut, I believe, thriller, I hope, mystery, probably mystery. And this is about somebody who discovers a Reddit post that's been since taken down and compiles all this information from a psychologist who was working at a psychiatric facility. And we follow him and the patient that he becomes kind of obsessed with, uncovering a patient who's been in the system for over 30 years or something, who went in at 6 years old and is still in there, and their symptoms and their, like, the way that their illness manifests continues to change. I'm very early into this. I'm only like 20 pages in. Like, I legit just started it. But it's pretty tiny. I have a feeling this is going to be a really, really quick read. And then I really want to read His and Hers by Alice Feeney. But I think it's going to be in my next vlog because I need to read A Little Life. And I'm not going to get to it early enough. So I'm going to wrap this one up after I read this. So far, so good. We do have like journal entries and some case files on the patient so far. And all that is very interesting. As a psych major, I'm into it. We're going to see how it plays out. But that's it for right now. I have 3 books down, 3 thriller arcs down, 1 DNF. But that's it for this update. It's late. I want to go to bed. Good night. Excuse my shiny face. I just did my face wash and my face serums and my face lotions and my lip mask. I am reading The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, and I have thoughts and feelings. I'm not far in. I'm 56 pages, 59 pages in, but there's also not that many pages. There's only 200 pages, 210, but they're like these tiny little pages. This is terrifying. This is about a man who is a psychologist. He is a psychologist because he has moved to the profession after realizing as a young child that his mother is schizophrenic. He goes to like a low-funded hospital because it's the area that his girlfriend's in and he really loves his girlfriend. Then there's The Patient. At the age of 4 showed serious issues. The issues change, like his diagnosis, not his diagnosis. I don't think the patient's never diagnosed, at least not yet, because the symptoms and the illness morphs, like it changes. He comes in and he's verbal, then he's nonverbal, then he's emotionally manipulative, physically manipulative. Like there's like a lot of stuff going on, pitched as being like Reddit posts on a post that's been taken down. I'm leaning towards it's something along the lines of Blair Witch, where it's meant to look like it's real but isn't. I really hope that's not true, because the things that I'm learning already are incredibly troubling. And I will never sleep again. It's 10 o'clock at night on March 4th, and I'm gonna go continue to read this. If I could, I would just binge through the end of this, but I feel like I will not sleep if I do that, so I don't know. I'm gonna see how much further I can get, and I'll either check in late tonight as I finish this, or tomorrow as I finish this. But regardless, this will be finished soon, and then I can start to edit this vlog before I start the next vlog for A Little Life, because there's no way this is getting drawn out until Friday. I will finish this either tonight or tomorrow. I am almost done. It is Thursday at 11:30. I will be done this before I go back to work today because I don't have that much left, and it is a quick read. I am tabbing it as I go. I'm not annotating it just because with the thrillers I'm realizing I might not keep them all. I really hope this isn't real. But it is really, really intriguing, and I think that this is going to be one that when it comes out is really exciting for a lot of people. Also, I don't think you can tell because of the way this cover is designed, but there is like a picture of a guy in a straitjacket on it. Can you see it? You kind of can. Amber actually pointed that out to me because I hadn't realized it. You start to feel a little cray when you're reading this because it's just so banana sauce. I've got about 50 pages left. I'm going to go finish this up and then come back and finish out this vlog. So we have come to the end of this particular ARC reading vlog, going over some thrillers. I'm gonna do a quick recap, but before I do that, I do want to finish my thoughts on The Patient by Jasper DeWitt. Very, very interesting. I think much the same as The Return and Out of Body. It tended to take more of a paranormal leaning thriller twist, like more horror than thriller maybe. And again, I've said it before, but I've got very loose boundaries and definitions of thriller and horror. For me, a lot of them tend to be the same, even though I know genre-wise and category-wise, they're very, very different things. I tend to lump them in my head. So do all of these really belong in the same genre? No. The three of these would be more along the lines of a paranormal horror with thrillery aspects. And then the two of these would be more true thriller mystery. I'm going to go ahead and give The Patient 4 stars. Really, really enjoyed it. I think out of all of these, probably the one that I enjoyed the most. Really gripping, really engaging. I think this is one that people are going to really, really like. Keeps you thinking, keeps you guessing. I think it's going to be one that sticks with you. Highest rated, 4-star, The Patient, Jasper DeWitt. I think you're going to really enjoy it. It comes out July 7th, 2020. Look for it. I think people are going to be talking about it. Out of Body by Jeffrey Ford, which comes out on May 26th of 2020. Again, more along the lines of something paranormal, not bad within that subset of the 3 books that are similar. This one, straight up DNF, could not do it. Truly wasn't good. Bummed about it because I wanted it to be, but I really did not like the writing, did not like the friend group. Nothing about it was believable. Beyond stupid decision making by characters in a way where you couldn't suspend reality to kind of get behind it. Just not a fan. The Girl from Widow Hills and The Boy from the Woods. The Boy from the Woods being the first book that I fully completed by Harlan Coben, the first of his books. And this one, I think, fell victim to a couple tropes that I just wasn't a fan of. Don't really care about the next presidential candidate, rich white dudes and their woes. I think a lot of the times in thrillers you get that rich entitled white people, a scandal that might derail political aspirations, and I just don't care. I hope it does derail you. Like, I'm not invested. So there's that, but it was interesting while you were reading it, at least. Then The Girl from Widow Hills, I think, had the most potential out of like the true thriller mysteries. I really enjoyed this for the majority of the time, but I just don't like a few of the plot devices that were used. But I think I went 3 stars on both of these. I think I went 3 stars on everything with the exception of The Patient, which got 4. Again, I'm learning what I love and what I don't love in thrillers. I am also learning that I think I like more of like the mystery domestic-y thrillers as opposed to like the police thrillers. I did not go over release dates on the rest of these books, which I should do for you. If you are interested in The Girl from Widow Hills, this comes out June 23rd, 2020. If you were interested in The Boy from the Woods by Harlan Coben, comes out on March 17th. So that will be the first release. If you were interested in The Return, I wish this had been better for me. It was not. This one comes out on March 24th. May 26th for Out of Body, and July 7th for The Patient. That's all the release dates. Would I recommend all of these, any of these? I think out of everything, I'd probably recommend The Girl from Widow Hills and The Patient the most. If you're looking for something more horror, paranormal thriller, The Patient. If you're looking for something more true thriller, then The Girl from Widow Hills. Those would be my 2 recommendations out of this batch. There will be more coming. Again, I have a lot of arcs to get through. I know I'm not doing them in release date order, but I do think that there's something to be gained by lumping them by genre and grouping them and reading them and comparing them so that you can kind of get a feel for what the best of the best in these categories might be, at least according to me. So that's going to be it for this particular vlog. Stay tuned for the next one. I will start reading for that vlog as soon as possible after my buddy read of A Little Life, which will be vlogging tomorrow. All the vlogs, guys. But if you like this one, give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.